Your cat is sitting across the room right now. He looks relaxed. He looks like he's doing nothing. He is not doing nothing. While you scroll, while you watch, while you move through your house without thinking, he is receiving a continuous stream of information you cannot access. Not vague intuition. Not animal instinct in the loose way people use that word. Specific, measurable, documented data that his nervous system processes in real time. Researchers who study feline sensory biology have spent decades mapping what a cat actually perceives in a normal domestic environment. Peer-reviewed studies. Controlled observations. Real data. What they found is genuinely difficult to believe. Your cat smells things you will never detect. He hears things below your threshold of awareness. He feels vibrations before you know they exist. And the most unsettling part is not that his senses are sharper. It is that he has been processing all of this information about you, specifically about you, every single day. 7 things your cat senses every day that you keep ignoring. Stay until number 7, because that one changes the entire way you understand what happens when you walk through your front door. Welcome to Cat Mind. If this is your first time here, subscribe before you leave. We cover the science of feline cognition and behavior, and what it reveals about the animal you think you know. Every item on this list is grounded in documented research. There are no myths here. No generalizations. Just what the data actually shows about what your cat senses and when. Let's start with something that happens every morning before you say a single word. Number 1. Your emotional state. Not your words. Not your face. Your body chemistry. When you are anxious, your adrenal glands release cortisol. Your heart rate increases. Your sweat glands activate. You may notice none of this. Your cat notices all of it. Cats have approximately 200 million odor receptors in their nasal cavity. Humans have 5 million. That difference is not incremental. It is the difference between a single candle and a floodlight. What that olfactory system detects in you includes the chemical byproducts of stress hormones, the specific compounds your skin releases when your nervous system shifts into a heightened state. A 2019 study published in Animal Cognition found that cats showed measurable behavioral changes in response to the emotional states of their owners, changes that appeared before any visible behavioral signal from the human. Before you sighed. Before you moved differently. Before you said anything. The information was already there, in the air, and your cat had already read it. Number 2. Your health. Specifically, changes in your health that have not yet produced symptoms you would notice. The same olfactory precision that detects cortisol also detects metabolic changes. When your body chemistry shifts, because of infection, hormonal change, blood sugar fluctuation, you smell different. Not dramatically different. Not in a way that would register to any human nearby. But to a nose with 200 million receptors calibrated to detect molecular variation, the change is legible. There are documented cases of cats showing persistent, unusual attention to specific areas of an owner's body, cases where the owner later received a medical diagnosis that explained exactly what the cat had been reacting to. The cats were not offering a diagnosis. They were reacting to a change. What that change meant, only a doctor could say. But the reaction was real, and it preceded any symptom the owner had noticed. Your cat has a baseline for you. He has been building it since the day he arrived. Every time you smell different from that baseline, he knows. Number 3. Infrasound. Vibrations below the threshold of human hearing that precede events your cat responds to before you have any awareness they are coming. Cats hear in a frequency range of approximately 48 Hz to 85 kHz. Humans hear between 20 Hz and 20 kHz. That lower end, where infrasound lives, is territory your ears never reach. Earthquakes, storms, and certain mechanical failures produce infrasound signatures long before any surface effect is detectable by human senses. Your cat's auditory system sits directly in that range. There is a documented pattern of cats behaving unusually in the minutes and hours before seismic events. In the hours before a 1980 earthquake in northern Italy, residents reported their cats leaving buildings, vocalizing without apparent cause, refusing food. The mechanism is not mystical. It is physics. The cat is hearing something real. He just exists on a different part of the frequency spectrum than you do. He is not predicting the future. He is receiving information from the present that your body was never built to receive. Number 4. Ultrasound. And this one matters more than most cat owners realize, because it is happening constantly, inside your own home. At the upper range of feline hearing, that 85 kHz ceiling, cats detect sound frequencies produced by electronics, pipes, rodents, and insects that are entirely inaudible to humans. The high-pitched whine of a screen, the ultrasonic signal of a pest repeller, the sound a mouse makes moving inside a wall. Your cat hears all of it, all the time, while you hear nothing. This explains a category of behavior that owners frequently describe as random or strange. The cat staring at a blank wall. The sudden sprint toward the kitchen. The focused attention on a corner of the ceiling. Not random. Not strange. Your cat is tracking something real. You simply cannot perceive it. Number 5. Your movement patterns. Not just where you are about to go, based on the specific acoustic signatures of your pre-departure behavior. Cats have been documented learning the precise sequence of sounds that precede an owner leaving the house, the particular rhythm of keys, the specific creak of a closet, the sound of a bag being set near a door. A study at the University of Tokyo found that cats tracked object permanence with a level of spatial memory that allowed them to maintain a predictive map of their environment. They knew where things were, even when they couldn't see them. Your cat is not just aware of where you are. He is modeling where you are going, based on a pattern library he has constructed from thousands of observations of your behavior over months and years. When he sits by the door before you have picked up your keys, he is not being psychic. He is executing a prediction that his data supports. He has seen this sequence before. He knows how it ends. Number 6. And I want you to stay with this one, because it is the part most people find genuinely difficult to absorb. Your cat senses, on some level, when you are thinking about him. Not metaphorically. Not as a mystical claim. Through the same channel as everything else, your body chemistry, your movement, your microbehavioral shifts. When you think about your cat, your behavior changes. Slightly, almost imperceptibly, but measurably. Your gaze shifts. Your posture adjusts. There is a fraction of a second pause in whatever you are doing. Your cat, who has been monitoring you continuously, detects the shift. Not the thought, but the physical expression of the thought, which arrives in his sensory field before you have acted on it at all. Researchers studying gaze following in cats have documented that cats consistently orient toward the direction a human's attention is directed, even before the human moves, based on subtle postural cues. He is reading the direction of your attention. He knows when it has landed on him. He has been tracking this since before you gave it a second thought. Number 7. Time. Not in the abstract, your specific daily schedule, encoded in his circadian and sensory systems with a precision that should make you reconsider what you mean when you say an animal just follows routine. Cats have an internal clock governed by circadian rhythms and reinforced by environmental cues, light levels, temperature shifts, olfactory signals, the specific acoustic texture of different parts of your day. By 4:58 p.m., if you always return home at 5, your cat's cortisol levels have already begun shifting. His alertness has increased. He is already beginning to orient toward the door. He is not reacting to your arrival. He is anticipating it, with a biological preparation that precedes any external evidence that you are coming. His body has been trained on your schedule the way yours has been trained on sunrise. The mechanism is partially olfactory. Your scent fades from the environment on a predictable timeline. As the concentration drops, the cat's arousal level climbs. He has learned to read your absence the way you read a clock. He is not waiting for you because he misses you in a sentimental sense, though the research on feline attachment is more complex than most people assume. He is waiting because his nervous system has been calibrated to your return. His entire sensory apparatus has been organized, in part, around you. That is what stays with me about number 7. Not just that he knows you are coming, but that he built a clock out of your absence. Now I want to give you the full picture of what his sensory system actually is. Because most people have only a partial version of it, and the complete version is something else entirely. Vision. Cats are not colorblind, but their color range is narrower than yours, roughly equivalent to a human with deuteranopia, a form of red-green color deficiency. This is the one area where your senses exceed his. However, in low light, he is operating on a completely different level. The tapetum lucidum, a reflective layer behind the retina, effectively doubles the light available to his photoreceptors. What looks like near darkness to you is a fully navigable, detail-rich environment to him. He is not moving carefully through dark rooms because he is being cautious. He is moving precisely because he can see precisely. His visual field is also wider, approximately 200 degrees compared to your 180. He is not just seeing more clearly in the dark. He is seeing more of the space around him simultaneously. You thought you were the one watching him. His eyes were built for surveillance. Yours were built for focus. Touch. The whiskers. This is not decorative. Each whisker is a highly sensitive mechanoreceptor, embedded in a follicle with rich nerve supply, capable of detecting air pressure changes, nearby objects, and the width of spaces. His whiskers tell him whether a space is large enough to enter before he commits to entering it. They detect air currents created by moving objects in his environment. They are a continuous spatial awareness system that has no human equivalent. Taste. Cats lack the ability to detect sweetness. They have no functional sweet receptors. They are obligate carnivores, and their taste system evolved accordingly, optimized for detecting amino acids, fatty acids, and compounds associated with meat. What they do detect in taste is something humans experience poorly, the umami dimension of protein. When he rejects a food he has eaten before, he is frequently detecting a change in freshness or composition that your palate would never register. The Jacobson's organ, the vomeronasal organ located in the roof of the mouth, gives him a second chemical detection channel separate from smell. When he opens his mouth slightly and pauses with a strange expression, he is using it. That expression is called the flamen response. He is drawing molecules from the environment directly into a sensory organ that analyzes chemical information at a level his nose alone cannot achieve. He uses it on objects you have touched, on spaces you have recently occupied, on the chemical trace of other animals, on things you left behind in rooms you are no longer in. Your presence persists in his sensory environment long after you have left it. He is not moving through your house. He is moving through a map built from your chemical signature. If you have ever watched a video about cat behavior and your cat came to sit near you, that was not coincidence. Your posture changed. Your scent shifted. He noticed before you registered what you were doing. His hearing, to return to it one more time, the pinny, the outer ear structure, can rotate up to 180 degrees and move independently of each other. He can triangulate the origin of a sound with a precision of approximately 3 degrees. A mouse behind a baseboard. A conversation 2 rooms away. The specific sound of your breathing when you are asleep versus when you are pretending to be asleep. He distinguishes all of it. He does not experience your home the way you do. He never has. He lives inside a layered multidimensional sensory environment that overlaps with yours but is not equivalent to it. Here is what this means for the animal currently sitting in your home. Every time you have assumed your cat was indifferent, he was processing. Every time you have assumed he was asleep, he was monitoring. Every time you have assumed he did not notice, he had already catalogued it. The perceived aloofness of cats, the thing people mean when they say cats are independent, or cold, or less connected than dogs, is not indifference. It is the behavior of an organism that processes its environment at a frequency you cannot directly observe. Dogs signal their awareness constantly. They vocalize, they approach, they make their attention visible. A cat's attention is frequently invisible to the person receiving it. But invisible does not mean absent. It means the expression is internal, quiet, and operating through sensory channels you are not built to read. You have been living with an animal that has built a detailed, continuously updated model of you, your chemistry, your schedule, your emotional state, your health, your movement patterns, and you have been interpreting his silence as absence. It was not absence. It was attention operating below your detection threshold. There is something genuinely strange about that. You have been observed in precise and continuous detail by something that could not tell you what it knew. It simply kept watching. Researchers who study cat-human relationships have noted something interesting. Cats show more behavioral evidence of awareness of their specific owner than of other humans in the same environment. They have not attached to humans in general. They have attached to you in particular, with a sensory precision that is, by any reasonable measure, more detailed than the model you have of them. You know your cat's preferred sleeping spots, what he likes to eat, when he is likely to be social. He knows your cortisol levels, your departure schedule, the specific sound of your breathing, and the chemical signature of your emotional state. It is not a symmetrical relationship in terms of what each party knows about the other. He has been paying closer attention than you have. That is not a criticism. It is a fact about the nature of the animal. And it is worth sitting with for a moment, because it changes the question you should be asking about your cat. The question is not whether your cat notices you. The question is what he has concluded. Based on thousands of sensory data points, accumulated over months or years, he has built a model of who you are. Not an emotional judgment. A sensory profile. A pattern. And he responds to that pattern every day, in ways you are now better equipped to recognize. The orientation before you arrive, the behavioral shift before you speak, the attention he gives to spaces you have recently left. None of this requires him to love you, in the human sense of that word. But it does require something more than indifference. It requires continuous, selective, specific attention. The next time your cat looks at you from across the room with that expression that seems to say nothing at all, consider what is actually happening in his nervous system at that moment. He is not bored. He is not absent. He is running 7 parallel sensory channels of data collection, and you are one of the primary subjects. If you want to understand what else he has been tracking, the video on how your cat reads your absence is the one to watch next. Has your cat ever reacted to something you felt before you showed it? Ever waited for you in a way that seemed impossible to explain? Tell me in the comments, and if someone you know thinks cats don't care, send them this. I'll see you in the next one.